Hey Serge,
Hey Phil,
what have you done this week?
this week I've been building more value into my software product that I am very close to releasing right now. That's what I've been doing.
Getting
And
exciting.
yeah, it's getting exciting.
So this is a
And
French podcast. Welcome. You have a French name, so that's perfect. So we'll be starting an English version of this podcast. We'll probably change the name. Right now in French it's What Have You Done This Week? And what will we be doing here? We'll be talking future of solo business, entrepreneurship, agencies. So I have an agency. You've got a SaaS portfolio, and you will be releasing your next feature next few weeks. That's about cold emailing, which is very of interest for me because my agency needs to grow and I need to get more clients. I'm really thinking of doing cold outreach, maybe certainly with your software, and I expected you to teach me a bit on how to do it. I've never done it properly, and you have a lot of technical skill that you could teach me to do it efficiently. And today I've seen this post from Ryan Stewart, that's an SEO guy, and he's basically trashing cold outreach. So today we'll be starting commenting those LinkedIn posts and try to see what should I do? Should I go for it or not? I'm very eager to pick your brain on this. So let's get started, and the next episodes I think we'll start trying stuff based on your feedback and our discussion, and we'll see what it brings for you and for me, and we'll share the results, so kind of build in public as it's the new norm.
sounds good, Philip. I'm very excited to be here. Very happy to join you on the pod, and yeah, absolutely. I'd be really happy to have some conversations with you about cold email, to really try to dig into it and understand, is this actually the right thing for you? Do you actually need it? Or should you maybe concentrate on something else? Let's find out.
I need clients anyway. So let's see how. I'm going to start with reading this post from Ryan. Should I share it? I will just read it. So it's like, mind-blowing to me that companies think sending a million annoying ass cold email and creepy DMs is a good lead generation strategy. I get it. It works, quote unquote. Does it though? Sales cycles are way longer because of how much education the prospect needs. Sales conversion rates are awful. The prospect holds all the leverage. They can ghost at any time with no accountability. You have to send 100 messages to book one call, 20 calls to convert one. That's dog shit. Plus, your days are limited. AI is going to commoditize the fuck out of that process to the point where it's spammed to death. I'm like, yeah, maybe it's right. Maybe I'm gonna keep doing SEO. So let's talk about this. Indeed, AI is coming. It's coming for SEO as well. So that will be our recurring topic, I guess. Everyone wants to think about that and decide what to do next. Me too. And you're building the AI stuff that we'll be using in the next few months. So, yeah, how do you react to this? Of course, it's provocative. Maybe it's a bit one-sided.
Yeah, it is. Like, it definitely reads like a LinkedIn post. To get some reactions, and I think what Ryan is saying here is it actually makes a lot of sense, but there are two parts to his approach, to the idea that he's sharing, right? Like, on one side is cold email outreach in general, like, even let's put aside the AI part for a second. Like, does it actually make sense? Like, is it actually valuable for companies who are trying to generate some sales, to generate some demand? He's saying that sales cycles are way longer because you need to educate the prospect, that the conversion rates are really bad, and that the prospect can ghost you at any time, and you have to send a lot of messages to get just a couple of sales. Yeah, like, all of this is true. And that is kind of the reality of cold email. If you really want to use this as your marketing channel, as your demand generation channel, to get some clients in your business and some and some eyeballs to see your product, that actually is the case. And even with that, it still works. And even in the post, he admits it, although he makes it in quotes,
Quote
right?
unquote,
It
yeah.
works. Kinda.
So when does it work better than another channel? Or when does it add up to another channel? So should I do it now? Should I wait to have another channel build up first?
I think the beauty of cold email is that you can do it without having anything at all. Like if you are in the business of doing business and if you have a product or a service that you want to sell, then all you need to start is just to write some emails, find prospects and send those emails. Like it is as simple as that. So in some sense, cold email is the easiest to get started with. Although the devil
Immediate
hides in the
feedback,
details.
Right? An immediate feedback, like the one that answers to you, you can see how many answers, to what talking points they answer, and the one you get in a call, they don't know you at all, and you can see if it was actually the right target, if you have the right product. So there is this, yeah, as you say, in the business of doing business, that's quite the most pure approach, like, you want to be my client. It doesn't sound smart, but it sounds like direct.
I mean, it doesn't always have to be very smart. It has to be making you money. And that is something that a lot of people forget when they are trying to discover a new marketing channel, trying to come up with a new interesting and exciting way to market your product. When sometimes it just makes sense to take a step back and say, if you don't have any other channels built out, and you are just starting out and you just want to test the product, or you have a new service offering that you haven't put a lot of effort in marketing so far, that's a perfect way to test it out. It's even faster than Google Ads if you don't have like the whole Google Ads thing set up.
Yeah. So what's the right way to do it, if there is any? Like how do we minimize all those drawbacks that he listed? Is there a smarter way to do it?
Yeah, so basically there is, just like with anything in life, there is a lot of implementation detail that goes into actually getting the cold email system out. And there are a lot of things that can go wrong along the way. But I think the first and most important thing is, for people who haven't done a lot of cold email, is to understand just like you, Philip. Understand the realities of it, and so that you know what to expect. And just like Ryan says, you send 100 messages to book one call and 20 calls to convert one. And he's saying that's dog shit. Like he doesn't like that a lot. And a lot of people don't like that either. But as long as you can find a large number of prospects to reach out to, then it's a numbers game. You like, nobody's making you send only 100 messages. You can send 1,000, or you can send 10,000. And like already at the first step, we're thinking about how do we scale it, how do we make it big, and even though it's necessary to expect that you are going to have to go by big numbers at some point, it's always good to just understand like who is really the prospect you are trying to reach.
Okay,
the money is in finding the specific prospects that you're going to be talking to.
So that's marketing 101. I think we'll make episodes just on that. Like you will show me how you would do it, because for me it's marketing 101, and in the end I'm not doing it. I don't know how to do it. I have this mental barrier as well of doing something that inefficient by the numbers. And we know that on the receiving end, it doesn't always feel super good, especially if you don't get the right targets. And again, we can think of his other point, that AI is coming, so scale will be more accessible, so we'll get even more of thousands of messages. And if it's not done right, it will just not be sustainable at all. Like it's already a war between anti-spam, any tactics on the anti-spam side, and tactics on the spam side. So how do we do it right to not be so much of a spam? So first, talk to the right person, We can go a little bit on it today, and I think we'll make an episode just for that. So, do you have any tactics? Like, I'm curious. I want to start it, and I'm like, okay, maybe I write only to e-commerce, but that might not even be enough. I'm like, hey, do you want SEO? I don't know.
Yeah. If you are thinking about cold email and specifically about the people you are trying to reach, there has to be a direct match between the offer that you have and the person who's reading the offer and who's trying to see, is this offer gonna work for me? Is this in any way related to any of the pain points that I have? And step number one is actually understanding the pain points that you are capable of solving, or the pain points that your audience that you want to reach out to has. So let's give a simple example, right? Let's make it super straightforward. You are running a marketing agency and you run an SEO agency specifically, right? And you are situated in London. You're located in London, or you have some clients there and you like to work in that area. So I would definitely geofence the companies that you are trying to reach, even though we live in the remote world and everybody's chilling on a beach in Bali while fulfilling the orders for SEO work or whatever. Of course, but still, we gotta start somewhere. And the easiest way is to find, let's say for you, e-commerce clients who are in London. I think that is a very easy way to start, and this also scales really well because you start with London and then you go to Manchester and then you go to Leeds and so on and so on. But you gotta really make sure that stuff works on a small scale in one city, in one niche, in one small pocket of the audience.
Okay, so you can be a bit more specific, so you have more chance to draw their attention and to be relevant to their need, I guess. Even if you're doing it remotely, you're like, yeah, okay. Okay, so then I would be blocked a bit by the tactics. So this, I think we will keep for a dedicated episode, but basically, how do I find e-commerce in London that probably would buy some SEO? And then I need, of course, an offer that makes a lot of sense, so I have a bit better numbers. And by the way, on the receiving end, it happened to me a few times to be quite interested by cold mailing. Let's say now we're doing podcasts. If someone comes and say, hey, I've got a well-priced, very convenient, with demonstrated results, video editing system for a professional on YouTube, I would be like, yeah, great, send me more details. Because I'm out for that kind of stuff. Same, if someone comes and tell me, hey, I've got cold email, package stuff, and we'll help you package your offer and outreach and target people, and the cost is like this, and you're kind of sure that it won't break the bank and probably pay for itself, I'm like, I will look at it for sure. So yeah, I can also put myself in the shoes of the buyer, but it's hard to do it in the real life. So hopefully you show me a bit more in next episode.
Absolutely, it's hard to do this in real life because this is something that it's a skill, and it's an acquired skill to actually try to look at the emails that you're sending from the perspective of the prospects. You gotta have a look at it from their side and see, is this actually resonating with me or not? Like ideally, you should invest a lot of time and effort in crafting really good emails, because that is gonna be the thing that differentiates you from somebody who's sending you a random email saying hey, buy my SEO services, to hi, I've been to your website. There is a bit of a process to the way you write emails and the way you approach. I'm sure we're gonna get into this.
let's say the
later
less
podcast.
scalable way of doing it would be to go to their website, do a free audit without them asking for anything, and finding important points and going back to them and be like, okay, you could do this, this, and that, and I have this offer that will suit you. You can try it with no risk this way. That would be like the less scalable version. Some people do it in SEO. They do like a free SEMrush crawl or something, and they send you something a bit automatic. So the perfect version would be like free service, unsolicited, and of course I think that would be quite good conversion rate. But then how do we do that in a way that has some ROI, that has some positive returns? That's the big question. So of course people will be like, okay, AI, as Ryan said, would commoditize the good emails to some extent, so it creates all the problems. So do you see a path right now? Do you see how we can distinguish ourselves, maybe scale it, and still have positive returns?
Yes, so I definitely think that right now there are popping up some tools that are allowing you to come up with emails and come up with content for the emails that makes it easier for you to reach to a bigger audience at scale. However, at the same time, I think what is really important here to understand is everyone's business is different, and if you are selling a more or less of a high ticket item, then it means you can put a bit more effort and a bit more time, a bit more resources into a process that makes these free SEM rush reports that you're sending, or free broken link reports, or free whatever you name it, the piece of value, the higher the margins are on your service, the more you can spend upfront. And this is a rule for any kind of acquisition channel. And for this specific channel, it really works well. So
Yeah, it brings us back to the which channel should I start with, because I'm like, okay, if it becomes too expensive, now I want to do another channel. That's maybe a better value for money. But yeah, how do you pick a first channel? Is it generally a good idea to start with this one? Because as you said, it's very direct, you got direct feedback. And is it also a good way to prepare more channels and find the right discourse and the right angles and offers as well?
Yeah. In all honesty, I think it really depends on the type of business that you have. It is always going to be very personal to the kind of offer that you have and to the kind of audience that you have, because there definitely has to be an audience channel fit, because there are products that you can't sell via cold email, and there are products you're not going to be selling via Google Ads, for example, because maybe it's way too expensive. So let me give you an example. I'm running my own SaaS products, and for some of the products, like one of the products that I have, it's a link checker tool. I tried Google Ads, and the results that I've been getting are the cost per click is incredibly high. Like for me, for my business, it is hard to justify the cost per click that I'm getting from this particular channel, which means that right now it's not working for me specifically. There are other businesses that have built out a backend on top of the first level of services, on top of the tripwire, if you will, that actually allows them to justify higher cost per click. But it's not the case in my business, because I'm doing a very self-service kind of approach towards serving my customers, which is a good example of, hey, like if one thing doesn't work, try something else. And it's always a bit of a cat and mouse game where like you are trying to catch exactly the place and exactly the marketing channel that is gonna work for you. So it comes down to a lot of testing. It comes
That's exactly
down to
also what strategy is I have limited resource. What should I pick first? Where do I start, and what might be next? If I open this path, what's next in this path? So do you have any rule of thumbs for picking a first channel and finding this product and audience channel fit?
Yes. My main rule of thumb is think first about the skills for marketing channels that you already have. Because if you've been in business for some time and you have been able to generate some demand for a product via, let's say, via Google Ads or via Facebook Ads or via cold outreach or via SEO or via cold calling even, if that is something that you have experienced in the past, that would be the first starting point. So I don't see that there is a one recipe made for everyone. I think it really depends on the skills that you already have. But let's make it useful, because you might have already tried the things that you've just, the skills that you already have. If you know how to run Facebook ads, maybe you already run Facebook ads.
I would even add a caveat on this one, because for agencies, usually, it's hard to use the same channel for yourself. It feels a bit hypocrite sometimes, but it's hard. Let's say you're an SEO agency. SEO might not be your best bet because you're fighting against everyone that's in SEO, and so it's really high competition. And that's maybe not even how the SEO seeking people find their service businesses, their agencies. So there are many cases like that where the skill you already have, even though you have very high skill, is not appropriate to what you're trying to sell and to whom you're trying to sell to.
Absolutely. It is very different depending on the type of service and the type of clients that you have or that you aspire to have. But to make it simple, start with cold email. Find 10, 20, 100 prospects that you have in mind. So the ideal potential customers, especially if you are in B2B. Because if we are speaking about cold email for B2C, that has a lot of bad rap, and that doesn't really work. Yeah. It's just, it's not where you really want to be as a business.
I'm thinking the first 100 and 1,000, you kind of should maybe do it very manually, because it's also like customer discovery, to be honest. So it's also worth it to do it slowly and in depth and with extra care. There is this old adage in startups: do things that don't scale. I think that's from YC. And it's also what cold email is. So it feels so bad because of all the reasons Ryan is stating, but at the same time, it's also what a startup should do. It's calling people and be like, I understand what you are, I think. Tell me if I'm right. Here is what I'm doing. Is there a fit? Can you use that? And can I bill you that amount? And let's talk a bit more. So maybe that's it's hard to do, but it's still the right thing to do, especially in early stages. Yeah,
I completely agree. It is very important to do it in the early stages as a part of getting the feedback from the market that for the service that you're selling. And for this, you do not need to have a product ready. You do not need to have a service ready. You just need to send a couple of emails, get some responses, and understand, is there some kind of a click or not? And at the same time, I would be careful with basing your whole business direction for the future on the first 10 to 20 cold emails that you're sending. It's it's not always
still an experiment.
Most relevant. Yes, it's an experiment. If you treat it as an experiment, then this is a great channel to explore, in my opinion.
Okay, and that phase is probably for the founder, not a random VA.
Yeah. That is you. I mean, you can offload it to a random VA, but do you really want to? Is this this
yes.
this part of your? Well, I mean, of course you want to, but is this?
Should I?
This process commands a lot of detail, a lot of care, a lot of input, a lot of soul, if you will. And a random VA is not going to be able to put in the soul to write the good emails or to find the really right people.
So you're painting me like very different picture from what Ryan did, which is cool, and you convinced me. I want to try again. So this podcast was supposed to be me trying that with you as a mentor. So hopefully we do that in the next episodes. We'll prepare a bit for that. And before we close, I want to go to another post from Vladimir Blagojevic. That's from Full Funnel. So he's doing a lot of ABM and let's say high ticket, enterprise marketing, B2B of course. And he's having very, very good insights usually for ABM, account-based marketing, and other full funnel efforts, demand gen, etc. So I'm going to read an excerpt, like the intro of his post. That's also a good answer to Ryan's post. And that is, I wish marketing influencers stopped promoting their approach as the ultimate one. Demand gen works, SEO works, ABM works, content works, PR works. But here is the thing. When selling complex B2B products, any of these only addresses some buyer during a part of their buying journey. In other words, it's simply a piece of the full funnel puzzle. So of course that's for bigger companies that already are looking for touching a more complex journey, touching more people because they need scale. I've been working at the beginning of the year with a huge, like Big Four, think Big Four, but Big Five basically in a different country. So a big consulting firm. And yeah, they have 20 people in the marketing. They are doing $500 million in the main country. They are doing $2 billion worldwide. And they have corporate, they have country business units, they have sub-business units, they have a whole matrix organization. They have different problems, they have different goals, they have different scale, different resources as well. So yeah, still there is this mindset of ultimate solution or ultimate anti-solution like we had on this reaction post from Ryan. So I love Ryan, but it's provocation.
Yeah. With any channel, you can find, and you are definitely gonna find people who crush it, like who really get like this one channel they scale it to the millions, and it works for them, it works for their teams, and they are making amazing revenue with it. And for the same channel, you're gonna find people quite often in the same business who are not able to get the same results and who are saying, yeah, the channel is dead, it's not working, AI is gonna come and eat this
it's
cold
actually
email
not
or
satisfying.
SEO or anything. Yes, so exactly, like you can find people on both sides of the equation here in any kind of channel. And I personally like to look at gurus. And there are gurus within every marketing channel. Every marketing channel has a guru. And this guru is teaching a lot of people, and they are supposedly successful, and it works. And the reason it works and the reason it doesn't work is because there is a match between the offer, the client, and the channel. And there has to be this match. And if this match isn't there, you're not going to be able to be successful with it.
And there is a level of proficiency also at that channel. That's not innate.
Absolutely.
So it's also what's the learning curve, and is the learning curve itself bringing something? And as we discussed, cold email is seducing for this reason. It has this customer discovery impact and also marketing angle testing, like direct response. So that's during the learning curve, you're still getting value. So that's kind of seducing, to be honest. The activity is not seducing, but this is seducing. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And the activity isn't seducing because you've seen a lot of bad cold emails. You've received a lot of them. Listeners of this podcast have received a lot of them. I have received a ton of cold emails, specifically for SEO, a lot of them. And a lot of them are really, really bad. So the channel obviously works because I read the emails. Like I read most of the cold emails I'm getting. And
for reading minds.
Yeah, at some point you shouldn't, but I'm building a software for it, so I really want to, be in the zone for it. Although I'm not very happy when I read like 80% of the cold emails. Like, it doesn't make me happy. But there are this 20, 10, 5% of cold emails that are relevant, that work, that I read, and that I respond to. And It's one of those things that it's just like you say, the implementation that matters as well. The channel is obviously matching me because I'm reading it. I'm here. I'm getting engaged. But the amount of responses I'm giving is based on how good the email is, how relevant the offer is to me.
Yeah.
And that's the same with a lot of other channels.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So time's up. We said we'll do 30 for the first one. See you next week?
Yeah. See you next week.
And maybe I'll start as soon as next week. I want to start. I want you to guide me a bit on this one. I've been procrastinating for so long, but I want to at least try it and see what we can do. We'll also talk about other channels like SEO, which is more my side, ads, which we've both been doing. You do SEO as well. You do it right, actually. You've got great results. Yeah. And tactics as well, and some scaling approach that's nice thanks to your technical skills. So we'll talk about that over the episodes and much more, management, working with VAs, virtual assistants, working with larger teams, and approach to synchronize your team around goals, OKR, metrics, dashboards, you name it. So a lot of stuff to discuss. I hope you liked it, and let's do more of this. It was fun.
Yeah, sounds good. It was real fun. It's great to be here.
See you, Serge.
See you, Phil.